You know, ladies and gentlemen, a nor'easter has hit the Big Apple and the surrounding areas. But tonight, live in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the only platform where all music and wrestling matters, Sportswire Radio. You might want to say a psychotic freak has come on here and let's just say, give us a preview of why a freak show is going to remain at Haunted Hellfest 5, the reigning, defending LBYW Tag Team Champions. We'll talk about that. Plus, we'll also talk about why freak why. Last month at War, what everybody is still puzzled in. And maybe we'll incorporate some freak math to figure out why he walked out on his teammates there against those Reapers. We'll get into that. We'll also talk about maybe an announcement for another guest to come on here this weekend who's got championship gold, who's got plenty of history with our guest. We'll also talk about, though, those frigid Vikings who have now been incorporated as the third team for those championships that our guest has, but now one of those members is fighting for something bigger than all of us here know, and especially for the memory of Sistine. We'll talk about that. We'll also talk about some other news and notes here in LBYW, plus who knows whatever else, because after all, the freak show is here, and every time our guest is on, you know something happens, and I hope for his sake the doors are locked, the lights are, make sure that there's not reflecting anybody else to come in here, and he's not breaking into anybody's homes, because he's got that prize that he wants to hang on to as quite possibly the final one half of those LBYW Tag Team Champions. I'll even have something for our guest, and I can assure you it won't be the Reapers or the Frigid Vikings. He may like that, and he may need his freak math to count on just how many things he's gotten from Sportswire Radio. But in the famous words of Def Leppard frontman Joliet, let's get rocked, because I know our chat's going to be here, and I know our guest is waiting to tell us why freak why. So let's start this show off here in style on Sportswire Radio, the number one global radio station where all music and wrestling matters. So we're done! Without further ado, here on the Sports Report. Number one global sports show. A man that is one half of, arguably, figuratively and literally, the biggest tag team in all of the backyard and the underground wrestling circuit. He's one half of the reigning, defending LBYW Tag Team Championships of the world. His name is simply but the Psychotic The champ is here, my friend. How are we doing?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm hopefully not gonna blow up like a helium balloon here after that introduction, but it's been quite the last week on Sportswire Radio. Last week in your chair, we had this guy on who only wrote the entrance song for this guy Batista and the alternate song of
nothing big.
Yeah, nothing big. Yeah, Josie Scott of Saliva, who did the Spider-Man song Hero, but we've got you, and that might be even more intriguing. And I have a lot to talk about with you in a short amount of time. Now, I know I alluded to in the introduction of you, why freak, why? I'll talk about that in a little while, but I want to get your reactions, though, first, because for those that are listening and watching here in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the platform that you, the psychotic freak, and LBYW most certainly helped build Sportswire to help us get Saliva, the original voice of Saliva, Josie Scott, on to here. What is your reactions now to the Frigid Vikings being added to Haunted Hellfest alongside the Reapers, where you and Showtime will be putting up those LBYW Tag Team Championships?
I can't stand it. I can't stand Justice. I can't stand the thought of her. She's a terrible partner. That's not championship material. Come on. Granted, I've never beat her. I'll give her credit where credit's due, but no. They don't deserve it. They lost that war. That they would have won with me, obviously.
Okay, well, you may say that, but they've certainly been successful. They have held gold here in LBYW, and we know that Ragnarok is fighting for something bigger than even all of us in the memory of Sistine. And we know also to open up the historic Haunted Hellfest 5 here coming up, which is going to be the biggest show in LBYW history, one of the biggest shows, I believe, in the backyard of the underground wrestling circuit for this generation, is going to be a 10-bell salute for Sistine. And you may not be much a fan of Just Ice. You may not think much of what happened at War, but it's always dangerous when someone like Ragnarok is fighting for something bigger than this Saturday's event that you will certainly be a part of, but more or less his dear friend Sistine, he's fighting for something way bigger than all of us could imagine.
It's definitely bigger for. I'm not too scared of Ragnarok. I mean, he's got on a little roll as of late, but I'm not too scared of him. I mean, there's no one that's going to beat us.
But he's fighting for something bigger than anything. You may say, you're not that impressed, but I've had on a lot of people, a lot of wrestlers, for example, and this always comes up when sometimes, on paper, you might be right. You and Showtime have the edge in size, in strength. You're also the incumbents, but he's fighting for something where sometimes the wrestling gods have a way in evening things out. Sometimes there's something bigger than what you're fighting for and what we're talking about. He might have something there. So what do you think about that?
I'll bite. Last year at Hellfest, I had a family member that died. And I fought Showtime.
You almost died literally last year. I Haunted Hellfest. To be fair, you almost died out there. We've talked a lot about that. I like you over the years, but you yourself almost died out there.
Right. So are you saying that's kind of the same instance?
I'm set. Well, listen. I don't want to say some of the details about his friend.
I'm not getting into that. I'm not getting into that.
But I think what I want to get into is that he's fighting for something that's completely bigger than even the size advantage that you and Showtime have. He's got, which I kind of think might be fate on his side, and the wrestling gods from above that might give him something extra to walk away with what you and Showtime have at the moment.
No, Showtime and I are one. We are one. They are. I don't even know what path they're on. They're not. They're on the same team. Look what Justice was at War. All she cares about herself. She's not going to take a man. She's going to take all the glory for herself. So they're not one, and that's what's going to hurt them.
But they're fighting to win those tag team championships, which they want to win. And Ragnarok, I'll put the footage up here in a minute. He wants those championships, and he's doing it for what we just mentioned, Sistine, his dear friend, and that may just give him the advantage, at least from a psychological standpoint.
Listen, I appreciate it, but it's not happening. It's cute. Okay, it's cute.
And on top of that, by the way, just saying, there's still those Reapers to deal with. Those Reapers, what do you think about those Reapers, by the way? Which, by the way, won the match at War. Just saying, which you kind of alluded to, which some people may have thought, or at least want me to ask, why Freak White? I'll do that in a few minutes. We're going to put that footage up. But you've also got the Reapers to contend with. And we know that they want the gold. They want all the gold.
Right.
As a matter of fact.
They've been saying that for the past year. And they held the gold for what? 5 minutes? I broke it in their house more times than they won matches this year.
Well, you did take possession of the championships. Then you won possession of the championships. And yes, you are the incumbent. Yes, you and Showtime are the incumbents. And you certainly, unlike, let's just say, Nate Dogg had a better luck with a phone call and a better partner, I would certainly cede that to you. But right now, you know the odds. You got freak math. I'm sure you got some freak math up your sleeves. But right now, the odds may not be looking so good for you and Showtime coming up.
What?
Yeah, the odds right now. Now, I know you know freak math better than anybody. That's your specialty. But right now, going into this match at Haunted Hellfest, the biggest show in LBYW history, one of the biggest shows in backyard and underground wrestling history, you and Showtime have only a 33 and a third % of winning and retaining those tag team championships. You have a 33.3% chance.
That's cute. So let's break this down. The numbers are not going to lie.
John Madden is going to be smiling when we see this.
We already got a 60% chance at them at best for the Frigid Vikings. But you minus 15% for bad teamwork. 20% for questionable identity, because they're not the Vikings. That's like calling me a rocket science because I watched Apollo 13 one time.
That was a long movie, man.
And minus another 10% for Justin to be the bad partners. That brings you to a 15% at best at winning this match. But
okay,
the freak multipliers. You got I-94 multiplier, right? You got the moon, which is a 100%. That's a 9 point.
It was the full moon here not too long ago. Okay, I'll give you that.
Halloween, right?
Halloween's right around the
10.31%. That brings them to a 2,790 freak power ranking. Not your power ranking.
Go Power Rangers there for the freak math, but you're telling me that the Frigid Vikings, based on that math, have a less than 2,700% chance.
No, this is a percent chance. These are freak power points.
Okay, so the freak power points are now. Repeat that for our audience again. The chances of the Frigid Vikings
2,790 freak power points, which is pathetic. It's awful, obviously.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, obviously, I took chemistry. I took science in college, and somewhere I am sure my science teacher wants to hit me over the head. But just to confirm, they have a negative 2,790% chance of winning those championships. But what about the Reapers?
Oh, don't worry. So they got 50 points just alone for experience. Then you minus 20 for terrible strategy because they can't plan for shit. Okay, 10 points for overconfidence. Now 10 poents. Then you another 10 for other worldly.
50 minus 20 minus 10 times 3, right? Is that what I got?
Then you got 10. The 10 points, that's your baseline right off the bat. But then you do all the multipliers. That comes out to 1,860 freak power points. That's just pathetic. I mean, I broke into more homes than they won titles this year.
You do look like you could have been one of the wet bandits in the Home Alone movies. You certainly could have definitely been maybe the person that for the new Home Alone movies could be
right. Before I get into how we're gonna win, which is, easy. I was in Indianapolis last week.
I can put those pictures. We're going to put those pictures up, but you've instructed me to do that. Yes, we can talk about that.
And I thought this match is going to be easy. I was sitting back at the house and go, man, this is going to be
Well, if you say the math is that scarce or that slim of a chance for, well, your opponents to win those tag team championships, then yeah, this should be a walk in the park. I mean, this should just be a breeze.
Now, let's get into the freak show, who's obviously going to win. We got Showtime for being 25 feet tall. That's already 250, right? 250 points.
Yes.
300 because I escaped the asylum just to be here today. That's another.
You know what? You were a gentleman in the road scholar. I'll tell you that much.
I mean, that's my friend right there. Then
I see. I mean, you know what? I wish I had friends like that.
For the flying pan factor. Then another 150 because I had tables that I broke per show. Then 100 points just for the fear in your eyes, Tom. And then you add in all those multipliers. Oh boy, 186,013 freak power points. That's freak math. And these are freak rules. If Showtime wants to sing the national anthem mid-match, let him sing. No rules, no mercy. And the only thing that people see are the fear in their eyes. And
you know what?
Maybe, Tom, it's time people stop looking at me like the bad guy I am. And maybe we're about to see true fear in people's eyes.
You know what? I thought I had fear when I got the opportunity to speak with Josie Scott of Saliva last week, but you have certainly topped that and some. I mean, I would, certainly I am more nervous speaking to you than Josie Scott or Rhino or Savio Vega, and understandably so, because you have given us math, and I thought my professors in college taught me a few things. Apparently not, because you have given us basically that there's less than zero chance. As a matter of fact, there is a ghost of a chance, since you were basically with Ghost last week in Indianapolis, that there is a ghost of a chance that your opponents are going to walk away with your and Showtime's LBYW tag team championships. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. Now you get it. Now you get it. Oh. Sorry.
You said a mouthful there. Boy, you know what? I thought my days of math were over, and you've told me basically that your opponents shouldn't even show up then to Haunted Hellfest.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's just basic math. I mean, it's like algebra. It's easy.
Well, it's going to be easy as 1, 2, 3. ABC, baby, you and me, to quote the Jackson 5, but I don't think you're going to come out to the Jackson 5. But, all right, so I got that. I got, obviously, that you're going to retain these championships. But what would it mean to you to be the final LBYW tag team champions? Because you talked about the Reapers. You talked about they want all the gold. You and I went back and forth with it just before, and they held the championships. You famously took those titles, and you've now held those titles from them. You figuratively and literally took those championships. But what would it mean to you to permanently be recognized as the final LBYW tag team champions?
That is music to my ears, what you just said. It would be music. It would be poetic. After I left this company, I wanted nothing more to be champion. And now that is ending, I think it's time for me to be the last champion of LBYW.
You know what? Everybody talked about famously The Last Dance, the 1998 Chicago Bulls, and I guess you and Showtime have that opportunity to be the last dance. Something tells me that you may or may not have two left feet. I'm not going to ask you about that, but that certainly means a lot. But just to confirm, you're not concerned about the wrestling gods for Sistine coming in to give Ragnarok a lift. You're not concerned about those Reapers who you've had quite a history with targeting you for some of the crimes you've committed, like the wet bandit that you are. You're not concerned about any of that.
No. I'm not concerned about that. I mean, why would I be concerned? The Reapers are garbage. The Frigid Vikings have an identity crisis.
Well, are you sure about the Reapers looking like garbage? Because, I mean, we saw what the Welster did to Kurt Adams. We saw that. Napalm's got back the Interstate Championship.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
whatever.
so, well, you said that the Reapers, right,
Yeah.
were a little overconfident, but you seem tonight, unlike yourself when you're usually here, you seem to be a little overconfident. What's going on here? Am I missing something or what?
Um, if you were to have a guy like Showtime tell me, would
Yeah,
you be going, I think we might lose? Or would you be pretty confident that no matter what, you're going to win this fight?
I would certainly be confident, but I wouldn't be too confident because I got to go out there and compete. Because the math, I know you told me the math. We're not going to go down that road again on the math because I don't even think one notebook would do us justice. But I would still say, regardless of what you told me, going in to Haunted Hellfest 5, your odds of retaining those championships are mathematically a third.
Sure, whatever. You know, whatever. So what you're saying is that on any given day, they could pull off a miracle, the miracle in Bismarck, we can call it, if they were to do this.
I mean, there is certainly the miracle on 34th Street. There is the miracle on ice. I mean, those are certainly moments in time in our nation's history, but it doesn't sound like such a miracle when mathematically you're in the minority. You're in the minority because it's only a third of a chance that you and Showtime walk away with those tag team championships. So could you say that it might be a miracle in Bismarck for you and Showtime because mathematically of what the odds are, despite that freak math? I know we're going to not go down that road again, but I mean, it would seem like for you guys, it might be a miracle in Bismarck.
By your logic, everyone has the same chance, right? 33.3, 33.3,
Yeah.
33.3.
But you're the incumbent though. The difference is that they don't have anything to lose. The Reapers have nothing to lose. The Frigid Vikings have nothing to lose. You're the incumbent. You know, I always talk about my career in politics, and I always talk about the times when I worked for representatives, and they'd always talk about, well, you're the power of the incumbent. You had the incumbency, and we lost a few times. It was because but you've got the same thing right now. You're the incumbent. You have more to lose.
I disagree that I'm not the only one here to lose something.
Okay, tell me why.
The Reapers also have a lot to lose. As you mentioned, they won all of the gold. What happens if they lose? What happens if Riley Bates walks out with the world title? What happens if Kurt Adams wins that title? And what happens if I retain?
Well, that's a good point on Kurt Adams. That is a very good point on Kurt Adams. And I'm glad that you brought that up because the Wilster, man, you have had a lot of history with, is back here Sunday night to discuss Kurt Adams. And he has long coveted to end the career of Kurt Adams. And some would say because of your actions, Kurt Adams was pinned by the Wilster. I mean, what is your thoughts on that?
I mean, that it shocked me. But if I was in that match, it would not have happened. I mean,
well, you were in that match, but then you decided to walk out of that match.
Now let's back up a few before we go. Oh, you just walked out. No, Justice wouldn't take me in. Anytime I tried, she slapped my hand away. She would not let me in that match.
We can put that footage up, and you can tell me what I'm missing. I mean, I can do that in a few minutes. I mean, I can. Yeah. I can do that. You know, I can certainly do that. And by the way, what did you think about what happened here to Scary Terry? Boy, he's really took it on the chin the last 18 months. You would agree with that,
huh? This is the average Scary Terry experience. Show up.
You know what? In college, I studied the Jimi Hendrix experience, and I went from the Jimi Hendrix experience to the Scary Terry experience. Boy, God must be striking me down. I can just threw Jimi Hendrix and Scary Terry in the same sentence. Boy, my professor would want to really fail me.
Now, what is that law called? Anything bad that can happen will happen. That's what. That's
yeah.
what Scary Terry's going through. I forget what it's called.
Well, Scary Terry's pretty much, I mean, that's Chris Arruda for you. Boy, Chris Arruda, he's got about the same luck right now as his San Francisco 49ers. We have another player out, and that's where they're going to be going, probably on the outside of the postseason with the way things are going. But, obviously that's one thing. I'll get to some of the chat in a few minutes, and I see our guest on Wednesday. I can certainly connect the Mr. Castor with you. I can certainly take care of that when we're off the air. So that's a done deal. But not concerned at all in any way going in to Halloween. Nothing.
No, I am not worried. I mean, do we even need to show up?
I asked you that question about 5 minutes ago. I'm glad you and I think on the same page, because based on what you told me and the math, this would just basically be, don't even bother. It's a done deal. It's as done a deal as the Seattle Mariners defeating the Toronto Blue Jays today.
Yeah, that's kind of the showing word that you're going to be expecting a beatdown. That's it. You're making me laugh, Tom. Let's.
I have certainly been told once upon a time I could have a career in stand-up comedy. One of my very good friends, one of my biggest boosters, Steven Saperstein, who I know is in bed right now, not watching this, tried out his career.
I don't know why you would not be watching this.
You know what? Because he's just an old fart. That's why. Well, no, not really. He just goes to bed early. But he tried to be a stand-up comedian, but then instead tried a career in politics, which kind of was the joke anyway, because he was the butt of the jokes. He didn't win an election. But enough about that. Obviously, let's get to the footage. I want to show this footage for the audience. I want to give them an opportunity to talk to you in a few minutes and just address to me, some of the things you just said, because I think it's fascinating. And we're here right now with the Psychotic Freak, one half of the LBYW Tag Team Champions. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice, figuratively and literally, where all music and wrestling matters. And I do want to say hello to Mr. Castor. Castor, I hope you're doing well. He was going through something with his family, and I had messaged him on Instagram, so I hope he's doing well. If I could break the fourth wall and hope that his family is doing well. And Wednesday's guest is here, the IMF champion, the boogeyman of the Midwest, the hardcore god on his platform. Mr. Omen Black is here, and the champ was here yesterday, but now he'll get to go solo on Wednesday night, and then afterwards, he definitely will be unhappy about Justin Parsley and Soldier GP coming on here. But that's a different show for a different time. Let's go to the tape, because I want to talk to you, and let's go back a little bit, and I want to go back maybe a little bit in time. Let's go about a little bit in time and see what's going through your mind. First of all, in the war match between yourself, Queen Just Ice, Showtime, and of course, Kurt Adams against those Reapers. So I'm going to put the footage up here and talk to me about what's going through your mind here right now.
I mean, at this moment, I'm pretty content. I got my partner, so I'm pretty chill about what's going on. I mean, and then you got PBS in this match. That was pretty much a guaranteed loss for whatever.
Yeah, we talked about that before the match. We talked about the prospect of that along with Scary Terry. That was one thing for sure. I mean, Scary Terry, and yeah, that's just, I think we spent enough time on Scary Terry for one episode. You would agree?
And just like that, he's gone. I mean, look how easy that was.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like I said, it's 1, 2, 3, makes the thing go right. But you were motioning for the tag, you didn't get it, and you looked a little bit off there. Did I catch something? What happened there?
This is a recurring theme throughout this match. There's about 15 times where she could have tagged me in, and she wouldn't do it. She would go, well, no one else is ready. I might as well just go back in because
I see you right there. But see that point, though? You looked and you motioned. Now, I don't know if Queen Just Ice saw you or not, but you didn't get the tag, and that's the second time that occurred. Walk me through that.
As the match, there's a moment where she's gonna literally slap my hand away.
Don't try this at home. If you're out there, please don't try this at home. What Mr. Psychotic Free? That's why he just broke out of the institute there, But that's a different show for a different time. My dad, when he was alive, famously once was a security guard or an officer in Bellevue Hospital. Was one of his odd jobs. It was just like way before I was born, but you would definitely have fitted well into Bellevue. But we're not going to talk about Bellevue. We're going to talk about this match. But I'll tell you what, I noticed those couple of tags, but there's your tag team partner. That's why you're going to be confident coming up here on Halloween. That's why you feel that it's going to be a trick or treat at the expense of your opponents. But there you go, going out with the Alpha. You've got history with him. And boy, I'll tell you what, you guys trading punches definitely looks like a bar fight and some with the LBYW World Heavyweight Champion. And definitely the world is yours. And you're looking at the Wilster, who you've got plenty of history with. That Wilster, you have plenty of history with him. But yeah, Napalm's definitely seeing a world of stars. And there is Kurt Adams, the one and only Kurt Adams, the man that is going to be in action against the Wilster. And we're going to talk a lot about that on Sunday's show. And there is the Wilster. But, definitely it's a Donnybrook. It's a war match.
It really is. And this is just it's kind of similar to the elimination tag team match that will be coming up.
Yes.
In a way. For all we know, it could be Showtime versus everyone. I could be eliminated right off the bat. And I'm not worried about that because even if that were to happen, which won't.
Well, you talked about the math. I'm
not going to get into that math. But what I'm going to say, what would happen if that were to happen is Showtime would probably kill everyone.
Well, he almost killed you literally last year, and now he may just decide to do that. He may, instead of joining you in the Institute, he may just be in a prison somewhere. I just put it that way for a maximum security one, I may add.
And if someone from the Reapers gets eliminated, they're screwed. That's game over for them.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And if someone from the Frigid Vikings gets eliminated, I guess it's not the end of the world as long as it's not Just Ice. Because I think she's definitely the better competitor. Is she a better teammate? No, she's an awful teammate.
How could you say that she's an awful teammate? Ragnarok and her got the win. I just showed some of the footage a little while ago.
You showed that. But in this match, this is where her true colors come out. She doesn't take her teammates in. She could care less. It's all about her.
I don't see anything so far.
That's because of the stupid cameraman that couldn't record what was actually happening.
Well,
there you go. There you go.
Right now. Did that bother you just now?
Now it really pissed me off. It really did.
Yeah, well, I'll go right back to it. Let's go right back to it, right around this mark. So we'll come right back.
Yep.
We're going to come right back to it, and I'm going to do it in slow-mo. And we're going to wait for it because it's going to come up here very shortly.
And it happens very quickly.
And that's what we're waiting for. We're waiting to see. You're all studying what's going on. You're standing there, and Just Ice is looking on. I get that. Nice little roll up there. 1, 2. Not quite. He's obviously got the.
Chris Arruda's not the greatest referee.
Well, so. Chris Arruda, we're not going there. Chris Arruda is certainly no topic, but we're waiting around. Just Ice goes and does something, and then you break it up. Smart move. You're standing there. You're waiting around, and we're seeing these two men get up, the Alpha and Kurt Adams, and you're looking for and you get pushed over. You got pushed over there just now. Why?
Good question. That's a question you need to ask her.
I don't have her on right now. I've got you.
She probably would say, I'm too busy. I'm too good for Sportswire radio. She's not the greatest.
I don't know if I would necessarily think that she says she would think that, but she pushed you to the side, and that was interesting. Which
would lead later on in this match of me going, you know what? I don't need this. I had bigger things to fight for. I have this right here. I could care less about this stupid
But
war.
wouldn't you have wanted to have gotten a win for your teammates, to have bragging rights over the Reapers, to have momentum going into Haunted Hellfest? There is such a thing called momentum. You could have had that opportunity. You guys should have won that match for all intents and purposes. You had the size advantage. You had.
There it is again. There it is again. She pushes me back.
So that was something. The second time, which I'll go. Let's go back to the tape. We're gonna go right back to. I'm like you. I just caught it. We're gonna go right back. I think it was. Let's go right here. All right, we're gonna go here. We're waiting. And
yeah. So, am I
right now? That was clear.
I am crazy. I'm a little crazy up here, but
you are.
That she doesn't want me in this match. She don't. Maybe that freak match that I did before this match kind of set her off a little bit. Maybe she thought, "Oh, this guy's a little."
All right, but let me ask you a question. Did you say something to her before the match? Did she say something to you?
I broke down the numbers on how we were going to win. It wasn't close. Kind of like what this is all about. I ate shard glass before this match. I mean,
plenty of glassy materials in that. That sounds like.
And Kurt Adams was like, "Freak, you're as sharp as a tack." I mean, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely, I would say one of the sharpest knives in the drawer. Yeah, figuratively and literally.
So,
but
I said nothing to piss her off in that little freak math segment. So I don't.
But you blame all of that on her? What we just saw.
Yes. And I want to point out in the background, there's that little loser, Riley Bates. I don't even know why he was here. And Napalm. Oh, what a joke.
Well, Napalm, you're going to be seeing coming up here at Haunted Hellfest 5. And I don't know if you'd want to say certain things about him. As for what we're seeing right now is those Reapers got the numbers game, but you decide to come in and you try to help your tag team partner, and well, that could be an omen of things to come coming up for you. To not exactly quote our guest on Wednesday, but you tried to help your tag team partner, and well, it looks like it's 1, 2, 3, and who knows? That could happen coming up here at Haunted Hellfest 5. You tried to help, and well, it backfired. And you're standing around there. You look visibly upset because, well, maybe that's a sign of things to come. There is such a thing called momentum, and that really wasn't much of momentum there.
Yeah. That is something that could happen. I'm not dumb.
The Reapers are. You can say what you want about the Frigid Vikings, but the Reapers aren't the Frigid Vikings.
No. They're a little bit better. I'll give them credit where credit's due.
That could happen to you coming up here.
Yeah. They took my interstate title earlier this year in that winner take all match, if you remember.
I remember. You were here at the beginning of the season. You and I spoke.
And they what they needed to do. They won all the titles. Will had the U.S. title.
Oh, I mean, his run has been. We're now going on
a year.
No, it's even more than that. We're going on now, like 15 months, 15 plus months as champion.
Okay,
15 plus months almost.
Okay,
right?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Well, we don't need Freak Matt to say that the Wilster's been champion for about 15 months, give or take, when it comes to the United States Championship. He is the face of America.
You didn't see it because of the stupid cameraman, but she shoved my hand away again. Shocker. I know.
So you're saying that this is why you have proof that she's not a good teammate?
Yes, this is exactly why. In fact, that winner take all match, she was probably the reason why we lost that match.
So this is the same thing, though, as some would say you're the reason the Team Adams lost this match at War.
Yeah. And frankly, I don't know where this came from. Last year, we worked as a team, so I don't know where this ego is coming from her. I don't get it. She used to be actually a pretty
But
good.
wait a minute!
Yeah,
No!
it was coming.
You just walked out.
It was coming. It was coming.
Freak,
It was
why?
coming. I think we explained why. Why? Because how
But you
awful she
walked
is.
out clear as day. You just walked out of the LBYW arena.
And
Plain.
I know you don't have the audio on, but she says we don't need him.
Well, we'll go back to the footage. We'll go back. I can go back. We'll go back.
What?
What the hell?
What the hell? Another whoa effect on Napalm, but Freak's leaving. Where the hell is he going?
Come on.
We don't need him anyway.
Just Ice tags in. Kurt Adams. Now he's got.
You wanted to be remembered, and she said we don't need him anyway.
But frankly, I think they did need him because they ended up losing this match. And if they were actually wanted to be teammates with me, this would have been a different outcome.
So you're saying you're not to blame, but you just clear as day walked out.
They wouldn't take me in. How can I be to blame? I wasn't even in the match.
But Just Ice was going to tag. I could put that footage back up. We can go replay.
She would have probably been like, nah. Where's Kurt Adams? Let me take him in.
She wants to tag you in. She wanted to tag you in. She wanted to tag you in just now.
And then she would have taken herself back in. She would have taken herself back in. We all know that's what would have happened.
But we don't know that because it never happened. You can't assume something that never was. Listen, I can't assume something if it didn't happen. How can I assume the outcome if I don't know it? You're the numbers guy. You don't know what would have happened there.
But can we skip to the end of this?
We can do that. We can go back to the footage. Yeah, we'll go back. We'll speed up a little bit.
Yeah. This is pretty.
All right, hold on. I know where I'm going. I'm gonna go like 20 seconds. All right, we're gonna go here. We're gonna keep it right here. So we see what's happening, and we see. Oh boy, the Wilster is going to be talking a lot about this on Sunday.
Yeah. He won't. He's not going to shut up. Oh, I beat Kurt Adams. Wow.
I'm even more. You know what? I'm really fascinated on what he's going to think about what you said here tonight with your history with it. I think that's going to be maybe even more fascinating to what he did here against Kurt Adams. I'm going to be dead honest in that.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
He's got his flannel jacket. If he could even fit in it, but I hope by now. I think by now, if he was wearing that flannel, that would be probably ripped. Would probably be ripped in half.
I guess it works. Ish.
Yeah. Well, I mean, by the time we're here on Sunday, I highly doubt that it'll be the same what we're seeing right on the screen, but. We see what's happening. And yet you've come back. So why did you come back after walking out?
Because it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do.
But
unlike that,
it wasn't the right thing to do to walk out on Just Ice because you walked out on your opponents.
I was more walk. I hate seeing this.
Well, this is definitely, don't try this at home. Definitely do not try this at home if you're here in the chat. But that was definitely painful. But, I mean, this wouldn't have happened if you would have stayed in that match with your size. We know the numbers game.
I think this happens regardless, whether I walk out or not.
No.
I'm not talking about the ending.
Several minutes. You're standing right there even. Why are you just standing there?
What am I going to do? I have no weapons around me.
You got boxes there. You could throw boxes.
Yeah. A whole cardboard box is going to really knock out someone.
Well, at least it's worth a try. You got a shopping cart there. You've got stuff. You've got objects. I mean, you've got a hose around there, right? There's a hose in the background. I mean, you try anything. That's an attack that's heinous. That is a heinous attack, and you're just standing there. standing there like an innocent bystander. It's one thing to walk out on just ice, but it's another to allow another man to be nearly decapitated. And that's what we just saw there with Kurt Adams. He might have been the backbone of the backyard at one time, but his backbone, well, it was nearly, cut in half because those Reapers, and guess what? Psychotic freak, you may talk about your math, you may talk about the odds are in your favor, there's no chance, but those guys, after what I just saw them just do to Kurt Adams, you're next, buddy. You're next.
Yeah.
You've got plenty of history with them, and you have gone back and forth with those men, and especially the Wilster.
Going
we know what they've done.
PBS. All the way back to PBS.
And you've been beaten up by them here on this platform. You've broken into their home. They've got a long memory, and you're probably target number one. You're more of a target than Showtime because you have made it personal with those men. You have made it personal with them for the better part of nearly 3 years. 3 years.
Yeah, ever since I came back, I've been target number one. How many times has Will screwed me over?
And that's why it was the wrong thing to do to walk out on just ice. Because the right thing would have been to do to stay in that match, work out your differences, try to get the upper hand, and have that momentum to where your point of freak math earlier on in the show probably would have been dead on. I would have said, you know what? Freak show, they're the incumbents. They got the victory. Either you would pin Wilster, you would pin the Alpha, you would pin Napalm to have been the final survivors of the match. Maybe multiple of you would have survived. And you know what? You are going to walk out as the final LBYW Tag Team Champions, you and Showtime. And I would completely agree with that. But now you walked out. Your team loses. Then on top of that, you come back. You try to help Kurt Adams like an innocent bystander. You're standing there. Even listen, the right thing to do would have just been throw yourself at the guys. At least Kurt Adams wouldn't have been nearly decapitated. His backbone was nearly decapitated just now. I mean, listen, let's get to some comments because there's a lot of people here that are just, it's definitely been a wild night here on Sportswire. We are in the Halloween season. This is definitely your season, and it's definitely trick or treat, but I think there was a lot of, well, let's just say tricks, and the treats might have been at the expense of the likes of Just Ice and the likes of Kurt Adams, and may even be your tag team partner and yourself to be next on those things. Zilla is here first. Thank you, Zilla, very much for being here. Management is in the house, one half of our LBYW Tag Team Champions for now. I mean, you could say for now. And one half of the Freak Show. And somebody you alluded to said, you stink. You stink. Forget the tag title match at Hellfest. The best alive in the 605. Riley Bates is the one to be knowing and should be talking about who's going to walk out with 3 belts. Now, how do you feel about that? That's a good point because you and I were talking about this off the air.
I'm going to be honest, Riley Bates. I've only seen you. I never actually watched you fight. It's probably not that impressive. I don't even know what titles you hold. I'm going to be honest.
He's got the SBW Union and the World Championships. He's got 2 championships right now.
Well, I guess good for him. You're the first. That's the first I heard of this.
But he's got a chance to walk away with the LBYW Championship, a company that he's only signed to as of a few weeks ago at War. He signed at War. So you're talking about somebody that's only been on the roster for about a New York minute, and he has the opportunity to walk away with the LBYW Championship. He can take North Dakota's championship and bring it over to South Dakota. Now, I said this here on Sportswire. He has an opportunity to be the true champion of Dakota, not just South, not just North, but all of Dakota. And that's it. He walks away with that permanently. Permanently.
Yeah, I mean, someone's got to win. God, someone's got to win that match. Frankly, I don't know how good he is. This is the first.
This guy's been around though. He's traveled. He's been in there with other names in the back.
This is the first I've heard of him. This is the first footage I've ever seen of him. Him beating up. Is it Slapko? I don't know. I don't know who he is.
Well, your opponents have traveled to meet this man in the past in his company. I'm sure you've heard about that. Your opponents, the Reapers, they went to his company, SBW. They've been there a few different times.
Yeah, I remember hearing about it. I didn't watch it because
Oh, you didn't watch because you were probably in the Institute during that. Right?
There you go. There you go.
That was a good one, kind of, but he's coming now. He's going to be there at Haunted Hellfest, and he has that possibility to walk away with the LBYW World Championship. And I guess then he may not be the final LBYW champion. He may keep it and defend it in another company. How do you feel about that?
Normally, people go, let me bring up the TNA whole WWE thing.
Yeah.
TNA hates the fact that Trick is champion. Right? They hate it. And that's kind of what LBYW is probably going to think. Oh, we can't. It would be a travesty if Riley Bates were to win. And it would.
And the Hardys right now have the NXT Tag Team Championships. They have them.
And WWE is probably thinking, oh, this is a travesty. This would be a travesty.
Considering Jeff Hardy's history with WWE, yeah, I think that's a pretty good point, actually.
This is a travesty if Riley Bates were to win and walk out as the final LBYW champion.
But he may not even be the final, because who's to say that he continues defending the title at SBW and maybe somebody else beats him or he keeps it for as long as possible. So there's that possibility. Or I guess the Alpha could take his championships, and what do you think there? Or even Lee Junt. I mean,
there you go. Let's put the wild card, Lee Junt.
I think that's a good point.
Walking away with 3 titles.
And because I think that's a good point, kind of like in your match with those frigid Vikings, because Lee Junt, we know the Alphas called him out. Lee Junt's a part of it. And everyone's focused right now in the backyard between the Alpha and Riley Bates, understandably so. But Lee Junt could kind of sweep right in and take all those championships.
There is some power behind Lee Junt. The Reapers tried recruiting him, and he said,
yeah, he refused. He refused.
Smart move, might I add.
You sure about that?
I'm still standing.
For now, you're still standing. I mean, you're still standing. For now, you're still standing. But yeah, if you are here though on YouTube, hit the sub button for LBYW and hit the sub button for this man. Just do it, because we've seen his actions tonight on Sportswire. But he is the Psychotic Freak, and my name is the Reverend Tom Bryce. And we'll get to some more comments. We'll say hello to some people, and we'll look at your Instagram page. We'll plug more LBYW stuff. And you were at the how fitting, you were at the Indianapolis Zoo, and this is a zoo-like episode on Sportswire with your math, with your responses towards some of your actions and what we saw Kurt Adams go through. But also, let's get to more comments, though. Wonder what kind of freak math can be the result of Bates with LBYW. Well, we just touched upon that, right? We just touched upon that scenario of Riley Bates, the man of the 605, the best alive out there, one of the best in the backyard in the underground circuit, to have 3 championships. I mean, Riley 3 belts.
Oh, that sounds awful. Oh. Ugh. We're talking about South Dakota.
But what do you have against South Dakota?
I'm from North Dakota.
Oh, you want to rile up Riley Bates even further?
Yeah.
Riley
Bates is in inferior Dakota.
Well, you know what, Riley Bates, you're only going to give him more incentive to go out there at Haunted Hellfest and walk away with your company's championship. So in this case, you would be, I guess, more sympathetic to the Alpha, or at the very least, Lee Junt.
I am pulling for Lee Junt all the way.
That's all right. I could see that. You know what? That'd be interesting.
I didn't like the. Oh yeah. Freak math. If you're new to this is
Caster from the TF crew and NEW, and he's also been in GTS. He's wrestled in Pro Wrestling Vanguard. Our friends over there, Ref Nick, shout out the stepdads, and this is the first time he's hearing about it. So
this is a standard.
Also, Wednesday's guest on his platform, your Omen Black, likes to say you can remember who that is, but screw the Wilster and the other irrelevant Reaper. So he's basically Team Alpha and not Team Napalm and the Wilster. But the Wilster's here on Sunday, so I'll be sure not to bring up the Atlanta Braves to the Wilster. Maybe I will. But is that fear in my eyes or concern? Well, I mean, we'll have to find out, right? That's what we'll do here on Sportswire. Yes, hello to Omen Black. And Omen was here yesterday, and he'll be back here Wednesday. And something tells me he won't be getting anyone to interrupt him. Yes, thank you, Caster. And I hope Caster would like to come back onto Sportswire. He and I, as I stated, were talking about a week or so ago. And that is guest Caster from the TF crew. One of my favorites around in the underground circuit and the independent circuit. And I'll connect these two fellas. And SOS. I always call that SOS, by the way. It's a police song, SOS. But we'll take care of that. And we definitely welcome everyone on out here. And Omen said you were throwing out too many numbers. But you know what? Based on the numbers.
Add it up. It makes sense, Omen. It makes sense. I could do some freak math for you, Omen, and how you could be champion of your own company.
He is the champion of his own company, though. And he has the opportunity, and he has the opportunity to be a champion for another belt. He has a chance to win the United States.
I could do the freak math how you could win that belt. It's pretty simple.
Well, he's big. He's just going to go beat up his opponent. He's going to beat him up. I mean, he's going to
kind of like Showtime, right?
Yeah, kind of. Good analogy. Let's go to management. As management goes, Psychotic Freak walking out on his team isn't illegal. However, it's unprofessional, also rather disappointing from a viewer perspective. Yeah, because I don't think as a viewer, I don't think as a fan, I don't think anybody expected it, you know? I don't think anybody expected it. I think that ultimately in that match, it seemed like you were all going to be on the same page. And it seemed like, yeah, from a viewer's perspective, it is disappointing because we wanted to see a definitive outcome and to see if who really is the better team. And we were denied that because you walked out on just ice. And then on top of that, you came back to help Kurt Adams. You didn't really help him. Yes.
Oh, man. Justice.
Oh, he's got, is that a fork there? Is it a fork?
Yeah, it's a fork.
Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, don't get any ideas here on Sportswire. Don't get any ideas here. You know, in school in the lunchroom, there was a game called Sporks with the spoons and forks, and you might be doing that with your head. Thank you, Caster. We appreciate you. And more for management. So hold that fork. Some would say hold that dial. If Psychotic Freak were to walk out again at Halloween Haunted Hellfest 5 on Halloween, you will be stripped of the tag team titles pending a successful title defense and will not be acknowledged as the last champ. So you can't go out there on this last dance and just pull what you did at War.
Let me get this straight. If Alpha wins, he's going to be acknowledged as the last champ. If the Reapers were to win, they would be acknowledged as the last champs. If, for some miracle, if the Frigid Vikings were to win, they would be acknowledged as the last champ. But This is a crime against the freak show. That's what this is.
But you've committed plenty of crimes here in the past. You've committed some crimes here throughout LBYW of late. And management saying, like, look, we want to have a clear winner. A clear winner. I think that's what the fans want. You're going to be in front of a big crowd coming up in Haunted Hellfest.
Read this fine print. Pending a successful title defense. This would be a clear winner. Right here. I have it.
Apparently not according to management. Apparently not.
If I want to go down to Montana to Bozeman and defend these titles, so be it. I'll go down to Bozeman.
But you won't be acknowledged as champions.
I'll go right into management.
And management may come and knock on your door. But you know what? We'll do some freak math of our own according to management. You may have a marshal come on your door to repossess those tag team championships. Not like those Reapers, not those Frigid Vikings. Management has the authority. If you pull a stunt like you pulled at War, they're going to repossess back those tag team championships that you hold right now. And you'd also be doing it to the detriment of your tag team partner, Showtime. We have no idea what he thinks about this.
He asked me about this. He already did. And he said, why did you walk out? And I told him, "Did you see what Justice did?" And he goes, "Fair point. I would have done the same."
Well, time will tell if he really said that. But in the meantime, I'm going to really get to some more comments. Zilla says, "I have nothing to say about it. I'm going to keep my mouth shut."
I mean, he learned from last time.
And Riley Bates is referring to somebody else that, well, you allowed to have their backbone decapitated and get it, backbone decapitated, the backbone in the backyard. Yeah, it was funny, kind of. Hit the sub button for LBYW. You and I can both agree on that. Also, hello to the family and what's up, freak? And this is probably somebody that doesn't agree with your actions either. You know, probably doesn't agree with your actions. And
I don't know. If anything, I'm doing her a service with all the torment I've been doing, the PBS and the Reapers.
But you acted in a way that disappointed the viewers.
Disregard that. I'm talking about breaking into their homes, beating them up, coming back for revenge. You know, the whole 9 yards. But yeah, I kind of see where they're coming from.
Well, you know what? Right now we have the poster up for the match here coming up on Halloween. If you'd like to hit the sub button for the Psychotic Freak, I would recommend it because he'll give you the freak math as to why you should follow him on Instagram. That was a good one. Okay, let's get to some more things. I'll say this. Dollar Store Hannibal Lecter. You doubt me? Go ahead. But don't come back crying when your company is dead in the water and the 605 is swimming above. What do you think about that statement? That's an interesting point because I kind of think it's highly fascinating to me as a viewer that Riley Bates has a very strong possibility after what I saw here on Sportswire that he could be the LBYW World Heavyweight Champion and he's going to take those talents back to his company, SBW, and yeah, I think that's a really good point.
So that's okay if he wins it and takes it back, and they won't vacate. But if I were to win this, that vacate.
But he's not walking out of his match. He's not doing that. You would be doing what you just did at War. That's not fair. That's not fair to the fans. That's not fair to the viewers who are going to watch online. And that's not even fair to your opponents, whether you like the Reapers or not, whether you like the Frigid Vikings or not. I think it should be fair and square.
And if I need to, Riley Bates, listen here and listen clear. If I have to walk down to the 605, break into your house, and strangle you alive, I'll do it.
I would highly recommend we're not going to do this, especially with your history. But let's get to some more comments. I like Freak, but I'm 100% on Just Ice's side. No excuse for walking it. Yeah, I think that is a really valid point before we move on to some other things, is that people like you. There was no reason for you to do what you did during that match at War. I know you listen, I know you want to stop. I got to give you something real quick. We'll get to final words, but it was not what everybody expected. People are still... I'm more baffled tonight than I was 3 weeks ago.
Of course, she's on Justice's side. That's the golden child.
No, she actually said not always.
Oh, never?
Never not.
I would like to know when that was, but let's move on.
But, well, what you did there, those actions, I mean, she went to tag you in and you walked out. She went to tag you in. Maybe she just didn't like the way you were standing next to her, so she pushed you back.
Oh, yeah, that's a valid reason.
Well, that happens all the time. Listen, you're the Psychotic Freak. You're in the institute. You're in the ward. You know, you obviously see the warden. You see some of your other inmates, and don't they push you back a little bit? Then you know, it's not personal.
Oh, but this was very personal. Now it was personal. And those inmates that pushed me back,
yeah,
how many have come back?
You would have to tell me the exact number. The freak math would probably let us know.
Goose eggs.
You know what? That's a good point. And I got the right to bear arms. Just want to let you know that it is it is Dakota, North and South. It's not New York City, so he could come packing. Just saying, And I actually have a sound for this. You'd probably maybe not laugh at this, but we have one here. He could actually do that here at Haunted Hellfest. So just saying. So, and Zilla claims to be not surprised at all. But I think the footage would say otherwise. Now,
I would like to know why Zilla thinks this is not a surprise. I surprised everyone that was at War. I surprised you. I surprised everyone that watched War online. So I'd like to know why he thinks, I saw this coming a mile away.
Maybe she just feels your explanations are valid and that's your reason and she's going with it. But I think ultimately the viewer, those who were there in the LBYW arena, and my feelings toward it, objectively speaking, was it was not like you. It was not like you. It was uncharacteristic. And I think that what you've said tonight, I don't know if I'm buying it, but I tell you what I am buying, and I don't know if I'm going to regret this after some of the things you said tonight, but I'm still going to do it because that's how we go here on Sportswire. That's how we roll. But it is your day on Sportswire. It's still your day.
Again?
It is your day. It's your day. But every dog does have its day, and we'll find out if those dogs are going to be either the Frigid Vikings or those Reapers once again here coming up.
I get my own day. Oh man, that's beautiful.
Yeah, but will it be
frame it up right back there?
Well, you come back after Haunted Hellfest, and I'm gonna see that framed on your wall, and we'll talk about that, and we'll see if you are going to be one half of the final LBYW Tag Team Champions. And I want to point out also, Sunday night, the Wilster himself returns to Sportswire Radio. And boy, I thought what you said tonight was confusing. Wait till what the Wilster has. He is going to probably have an early inauguration after what he did to Kurt Adams and what he said on here in previous episodes. And I mean, at this point, it might be.
Guess what he's going to say? Oh,
what?
I'm the last real United States champion.
Yeah, probably. But he's basically going to have a pre-victory speech before the shouting in the match that begins. I mean, that's basically what he's going to do. After what he did to Kurt Adams at War, pinning him and then nearly decapitating him, I think that he's probably going to declare victory. I mean, I hope for his sake it's not going to be like in 2020 when President Trump was declaring victory and then those ballots came in, not to go political, but I hope for the Wilster's sake he's not going to declare victory on Sunday's show and then all of a sudden we watch Haunted Hellfest 5 and, well, the Wilster's no longer the face of America.
Not only is he going to do a victory speech on Sunday, he's going to do a victory speech right before the match begins. He's going to go down to the ring, do his little thing, and then he's going to talk about why this match shouldn't happen because he will be the last U.S. champion. That's what he's going to do. And then, you know what's going to happen?
What?
He's going to lose.
Well, I mean, listen, he's been champion almost 15 months. I mean, it's 400 and like 30-something, 35 days. I think it's 435 or 436 days. So you're talking about, I mean, that's almost 15 months, and he's going to talk about that. You know, talk about 15 months.
Let's talk about this for a second. What happens if Will loses? What happens if the Wilster loses?
I think he tucks his tail between him, and that's the end of him. I mean,
what happens to the Reapers?
I think the question would be is what happens with the Reapers in your match and what happens with the Reapers in the world title match. So that would be a question that's open-ended. Now, we've talked on previous episodes about the fact, is the Wilster the weak link of the Reapers? And that was thrown out there by the likes of the Backbone of the Backyard. That was thrown out there by others. You threw that out there even.
I want to answer that. He absolutely is the weak link. What does he do in a match? He walks around outside the match.
He got the pin. He got the pin for his team.
Sure. He walks around up. How long was he in the match? 2 minutes, maybe.
A little longer than a New York minute.
Maybe.
That was a funny
He
one.
doesn't do much. He has the two
Doesn't have
moves that
to.
do him.
He's
A
the face of
DDT
America.
and maybe a slap.
He's the face of America. He doesn't have to. Listen, on TikTok, his video of he and I talking about him as the face of America is one of my most viewed videos on TikTok. It got something like 4,000 plus views. So apparently people want to see him as the face of America, I suppose. I don't know how to explain it, but I mean, there is a point. Is he the weak link? I mean, I'll ask him that question, but I think it is an open-ended question that if the Wilster loses to Kurt Adams, what is the future of the Reapers? And really, what is the future of the Wilster? And I think the future is that, well, he'll be the past.
Yeah, and essentially his career will be over.
It will be, because he's wanted to end Kurt Adams' career, but Kurt Adams now will turn the tables on him. But the way the Wilster's feeling right now, especially after what we saw at War, I don't know if the Wilster thinks there's any chance of that happening. He probably thinks it's less chance than what you laid out with the freak math.
Probably.
All right, so obviously, look, we'll obviously talk about a few other things here, but I want to run down the card, tell everybody, but it's your day, and we'll give you the physical copy when we're off the air, and this is for all Sportswire radio platforms. I am the Reverend Tom Bryce, and if you are on Sportswire Radio, do me a favor, hit the sub button for us. We'll be back here tomorrow night with Thomas Titus and Hunter, the Unforgiven Soul of Ohio Promo Wrestling. What's up, guys? How we doing? We're doing great. We're having fun. And the Wilster is trash. Well,
agreed.
He's going to tell us why he's not Sunday night. I mean, he's going to tell us why he's not. But I'm going to tell you what's not trash is the rest of the card here coming up for Haunted Hellfest 5 on Halloween. We ran down the title match. I think that's a very fascinating scenario. We've talked about the possibility of Riley Bates walking away with the LBYW championship and taking that to SBW to South Dakota. There's also the possibility of Lee Johnson. What about even the Alpha walking away as the SBW champion? That would mean the Alpha is going to go out there and continue what he does best. We've also talked a lot about Kurt Adams and the Wilster. Obviously, Kurt Adams is also the SBW YouTube champion. And we know what the Wilster has done and what he is going to say, which will probably be a memorable show on Sportswire. It is always memorable when the Wilster is here, and I have no doubt this one won't be any different. We've got a mass versus mass match, El Sombre and Azul Noche. Definitely, this will be one that'll be probably telecasted on Telemundo, so that'll be an interesting one. We know the success that Azul Noche has had, so El Sombre is also somebody looking to make a mark. You'll check that out. Scary Terry and Nate Dogg. You would think this would be Nate Dogg's victory here. Yes.
Yeah. Let's move on.
Yeah, I figured that. But I thought at the very least we could say that this would at the very least be a victory for
this
Nate
is
Dogg.
like
Yeah.
Georgia facing Furman.
Well, I don't know if Nate Dogg being compared to Georgia, God bless him. That might be the biggest moment of his career in the backyard. And your match, we spoke about plenty. I'll come back to that poster. And also, we will have a costume Royal Rumble.
Right. I don't know anyone that's in this. Scarecrow is winning it all this year. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. Well, I would think more that would be Thanksgiving. And right now, today is Canadian Thanksgiving. Although, don't tell the Toronto Blue Jays it was Canadian Thanksgiving because they were the turkeys, actually, for the meal for the Seattle Mariners. But let me get to a few more comments. I want to ask you a couple of more questions. Also, put this into perspective. The Wilster put his career on the line last year against White Viper and had a successful retain. And look at what he's done.
And where's White Viper now?
And that could be where Kurt Adams is going to be next. And could do it again this year. Great point. Correct. He's a glorified mouthpiece. But
there you go.
Guess what? He's got that championship going on 15 months. Wilster doesn't deserve to be the champ. Well, he's going to tell he's going to tell us otherwise. Yeah, we'll go next. Omen Black would like to say on his show, I'll give you freak math, mention my name with respect, and no, I don't need your freak numbers to get the job done. This is the part I do some math for you. 68 plus 1. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I got the reference. We want to keep Josie Scott coming on to Omen Black's platform. We want to have the man that did Batista's entrance song and the Spider-Man credits. We want to keep that going. But no, you can stay into the chat. We appreciate you, Zilla. And that'll make me turn into what I want to ask you is I'd like to now turn it over for final words and giving you the opportunity, if you had anything else to say to your opponents before Haunted Hellfest 5, where you put up those tag team championships, what would they be?
Justice, I'm sorry about what I'm about to do to you, but it's become personal. As for the Reapers, let's do one final dance. I know we go back. Let's dance one more time. And let's end your lives too. And we will remain LBY champion.
There's that belt, ladies and gentlemen. There is that belt, the prize that everybody fights for here in LBYW. Everybody values here in Dakota. That is that LBYW Tag Team Championship, and that is held by the Psychotic Freak. And he looks to continue his reign and also, alongside his tag team partner, Showtime, become the final LBYW Tag Team Champions. You know, ladies and gentlemen, they always remember the first and the last. And that right now is what the Psychotic Freak and Showtime, the Team of Freak Show, have the possibility to be remembered as the final LBYW Tag Team Champions. And you might have been wondering why Freak, why? Well, in his own way, he told us. He also laid out his freak math, but also on a serious note, he told us why he and his tag team partner are just better than the Reapers, because the Reapers are overconfident and they've got too many eggs in one basket. Then you've got those frigid Vikings, despite what Ragnarok is fighting for Sistine and Just Ice. It's personal for the Psychotic Freak, and when it's personal, that means the Psychotic Freak knows it's all about gold. And Just Ice is somebody that he's going to put on ice. That's what that means, ladies and gentlemen. The only way you can watch this if you're not there in person is by the YouTube channel. Hitting that sub button for us for the LBYW YouTube channel. You can do that right there. LBYW is going to have more coverage here with us on Sportswire. The Wilster is here Sunday night. You'll have post Haunted Hellfest coverage here in a few weeks, and maybe we'll have the Psychotic Freak. Maybe he'll have been right all along, and he said that Just Ice had it coming, and Just Ice disrespected him, and it wasn't his fault that his team lost. It wasn't his fault for those actions, and it didn't matter to him whether his team got the job done at War, because the War is coming at Haunted Hellfest 5. And it means that because of the size, the strength, and just the unpredictability of what Freak Show and Showtime offer, the Reapers and the Frigid Vikings stand no chance. You can never lose interest in backyard wrestling. It's too fun. Yes, I agree with you. Thank you, Zilla, for that. And yes, I do want to take the time to also mention that the 10-bell salute for Sistine will also be a part of Haunted Hellfest to open the show. And also the world title match, I believe, is opening the show, which I think is going to be a very interesting factor in your match. Very interesting factor in your match. Who knows what move that could backfire on you, or that could help you. Who knows? But we will also do our own moment of silence on Sunday's show for Sistine. We will do that with the Wilster. Even the Wilster will have to stay silent for that. Yeah, that's going to be quite the remarkable sight. The Wilster staying silent for a few seconds. But we're going to give Sistine our own moment of silence, and we'll honor her on Sunday's show. And it will also take place on Halloween, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And that'll also be 10 p.m. Mountain Standard Time and 11 p.m. Pacific. No, it's 8 p.m. Yeah. I had it right. 9 p.m. Eastern time. It'll be 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, and you can go to the LBYW YouTube page. And it's going to be a tough job for the Wilster. Yeah, probably. I would have to say we'd all agree with that. And maybe the two-time Hall of Famer might make an appearance on Sportswire at the Haunted Hellfest.
God, no.
What do you think that means? Now, will somebody ask him about Scary Terry signing Scary Terry, one of the worst signings in history? Right now, I don't know how big of a college football fan you are, but everybody's talking about how one of the worst signings was Bill Belichick to the North Carolina Tar Heels to be the head coach. That's even with Jordan Hudson, his other half. But you might want to make the argument that one of the worst signings in history, wrestling or sports, is Scary Terry, the legendary backyard wrestling. And, well, I think this man right here signed him, but maybe...
Well, to be fair for Bill Belichick, he was inheriting a bad team.
Yeah, they weren't really that good. Yeah, I think at best they were going to be a bowl team. I mean, Mac Brown necessarily didn't set the world on fire, but he's Bill Belichick, and Scary Terry's got the size. But look, we'll find out all of it. Listen, I want to pass the baton to you. Let's give you closing thoughts. I know we'll see you after Haunted Hellfest. Anything else you want to plug, share, or say? Take it away, my friend.
After Hellfest, I promise you, this is not the last you see of me. I will be going around. If I need to go to Australia to fight some losers down under, so be it. I'll go down to Australia. I'm a free agent after Hellfest.
You say you're a free agent?
Yes.
So your contract's up on Halloween? Oh, boy, ladies and gentlemen, I don't even know the unpredictability of this man. This is why the freak math, listen, the freak math says is that November 1st, time's up. Time's up for the psychotic freak, and that could mean, who knows what that could mean. And
so management is praying I don't win. Because if I do, they're never seeing this again.
Never seeing this again. Never seeing this again. Oh, boy. That, who knows what that could mean. Oh, my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a scary thought there. Let's just say a scary thought for some. And we'll talk about this post Haunted Hellfest 5. And please follow the psychotic freak so he doesn't break into your home. He doesn't take away some of your prized possessions. And he doesn't do some of the things he did at war that we talked about here tonight. And the Hall of Fame monitor of Sportzwire Radio, who's back here on Thursday night, wants to say, psychotic freak, meet the psychopathic sleaze.
That's
that what's that?
That's sociopath.
Yeah. Whatever it might be, but signing Scary Terry was a mistake, but sometimes you got to get a Jamarcus Russell, not a Tom Brady. It happens. Yeah, Jamarcus Russell.
You should have done your scouting. You should have done your scouting.
Yeah, well, you know what? Listen, Jamarcus Russell is definitely one of the all-time worst quarterbacks.
Ryan Leaf.
Ryan Leaf's a bad one. Yeah, Ryan Leaf. There's Tim Couch. There's Zach Wilson. There's Zach Wilson.
You can go down the Cleveland Browns.
Oh, the Cleveland Browns have had a bunch of them. They've Johnny Manziel. Remember Johnny Football? That was another one. Yep. But enough about that. We'll talk about that at another time. I do want to point out that to open the show, when the Wilster is here Sunday night, we will do a moment of silence for Sistine. We will honor her as well here on Sportswire Radio. So we will honor her, and we will certainly remember her, and we are certainly praying for her family. And we want to thank everybody for being here tonight. And my friend, it's definitely trick or treat when it comes to you. And I know we'll be seeing each other in a few weeks. What remains to be seen, who knows? But it was another memorable episode. And good luck out there on Halloween. And trick or treat, by the way.
Yes. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was the Psychotic Freak. He is one half of the LBYW Tag Team Champions, who certainly gave us a memorable episode on Canadian Thanksgiving. Yeah, definitely, I don't know if Queen Just Ice was the turkey, but it looks like the Psychotic Freak wants to carve up his opponents, and that would be the Reapers, and that would be those frigid Vikings. And we talked plenty about that. Oh, by the way, plus the Freak Math. And my name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice, figuratively and literally, with all music and wrestling matters. The Wolves will be here Sunday night. I'll also be tomorrow night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, with Hunter, the Unforgiven Soul, and Thomas Titus of Ohio Promo Wrestling. So be here for that. Also, Omen Black is here, 9 o'clock Eastern Time Wednesday, and my Hall of Fame monitor, Justin Parsley's back. And that's always a live debate, almost like your episode, but even more, let's just say, real. But honestly, I think me or Freak was the best U.S. champion. Yeah, you were a good champion. You were a good United States champion, but the Welsh has been champion 450 days nearly. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I'll give you this physical copy on the air. You don't need to steal it. And we'll certainly see you after Haunted Hellfest 5. And until then, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. On the number one, Global Rage into the Sportswire Radio, where all music and wrestling rest. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great day. Hit the sub button for LBYW. Hit the sub button for us.